Good evening and welcome to Channel 8 Sports. Hi, I'm John Meggiolaro. Tonight we're at the East Brunswick High School for an East Brunswick boys gymnastics meet against Sayreville High School. East Brunswick comes in 7-0 against a rather tough Sayreville team, although their record is only 4-3. East Brunswick, by the way, is shooting for their 14th state championship. It should be an exciting meet and one that I think you'll enjoy, so stay with us as we start the action. Well, good evening and welcome to tonight's boys gymnastic meet between East Brunswick and Sayreville. The first competitor on floor X for the Bears will be Greg Apin. Greg is an all-around and is a junior, and he will start it off for the Bears. Greg starts off with a double full. Comes up short and has a fall, so he'll be penalized for that. On floor X, the judges are looking for strength and tumbling. Nice press handstand. Greg getting ready for his third pass. Front handspring step out combination. Greg going into a scale now to show his balance requirement. Punch back. Greg getting ready now to finish up. Finishes with a full twist. Greg Apin, first competitor up for East Brunswick. And when you talk about boys gymnastics and you talk about East Brunswick, you're talking about probably the best program in the state. The Bears have been state champs 13 times, and chances are it could be their 14th this year. All right, our first Sayreville competitor will be Chris Van Pell, as we await the score for Greg Apin. Let me mention that the clapping you hear in the background is for some of the JVs from both East Brunswick and Sayreville who are competing tonight with the varsity. We are only showing you the varsity teams from both East Brunswick and Sayreville. Again, we're waiting for Greg Apin's score. And it's a 7.1. Okay, this is Chris Van Pell, and he starts off with a standing back semi to a side semi. A slight fall there. That'll be a deduction. Chris showing his balance move, although it was low. Another fall coming out of the back semi. Chris seems to be having trouble with his pumps, which are his little slippers that he's wearing. Tries to press into a handstand, hollow back. And he finishes with a back semi. Chris Van Pell from Sayreville. That'll bring up Aiden Antoine. Aiden is the team captain this year, and in 1985 was second in the state on the parallel bars. Aiden is an all-around performer and has one of the top scorers for East Brunswick this year, scoring a 47 in the all-around. We should see some good tumbling here. As Coach Weeder tells me that Aiden possesses some superior skills on all events. Waiting for Chris Van Pell score for Sayreville. And Van Pell comes up with a 4.7. Aiden Antoine for East Brunswick. Front semi with a full twist. Very nice start. Split, Russian split. To his strength move, which is a straddle press handstand. Nice high front step out, front semi combination. Aiden has a good routine going. Back semi, handstand pirouette. Notice the combination tumbling, and that's an important component on floor X. Nice scale, side scale. Finishes with a full twist. Fine routine. Aiden Antoine, the Bears captain.
Next up is Sayreville Smith. On deck for East Brunswick, Steve Christensen.
Up next for Sayreville will be Carol Smith, and girls compete for the Sayreville boys team, which leads me to believe that they do not have a girls team at Sayreville. When we get a chance, we'll talk a little bit more about this East Brunswick High School team. Thus far this year, they have broken the state scoring record set by the 1974 Bear team, scoring 146.6 points, and that was the first meet of the year. Aiden Antoine's score is 8.4 on the floor. This is Carol Smith. She will tumble without music. Back semi, slight problem, rolls out of it. Carol, on a girls' team, would be doing floor X to music. Since she's competing with the boys' team, she will follow the procedure set up for boys, and that is to compete in floor X without music. Russian split, Valdez. Carol had trouble with the Valdez. Back handsprings. And she finishes up. Carol Smith for Sayreville.
Next up for East Brunswick, Steve Christensen. On deck for Sayreville, Stephanie Yada.
All right, that'll bring up Steve Christensen for the Bears. Steve is only a sophomore. His all-around top scorer has been 50. He was third in the state last year on pommel horse and is an excellent all-around performer. Don Weeder sees big things for this young man. Carol Smith's score is 4.1. Steve Christensen for the Bears. Double twist into a backward roll handstand. Excellent combination. Beautiful start for Steve Christensen. Now his strength move, straight arm press. Pirouettes out. Punch front. Step out front. Slight step there, he'll have a minor deduction. pike front. Full pirouette. As Steve gets ready now for his last pass. There's his balance move, his requirement. Front handspring, front semi rather, to a full twist. Steve Christensen with another fine routine for the Bears.
Next up is Sayreville, Stephanie Piazza. On deck for East Brunswick, Ron Katz.
Okay, the next competitor for Sayreville is also a girl, and this is Stephanie Piatek. She will be on the floor. Before the meet, I had a chance to talk with Don Weeder, and he expects this team, which is very young, to score close to or break 160 next year. Here's Stephanie Piatek. Flip-flops to a back semi. Again, Stephanie will compete without music and conform to the men's requirements. Front handspring, front semi rather. Cartwheel and walkover. Having a little trouble on the walkover. Here's her balance requirement. Into a split, walk over into a split, press up into a handstand, and Stephanie will now finish it off. Round off back semi. Stephanie Piatek, Sayreville. Steve Christensen's score was 8.6 on the floor. And that'll bring up Ron Katz. Ron is a freshman all-arounder, scoring around 35.
Go, Ron. Come on, Ron.
Excellent floor X-performer. And that's the event we're on now. If you just joined us, we've just started. Boys Gymnastics, East Brunswick against Sayreville. East Brunswick comes in 7-0. Sayreville has a 4-3 record. Thus far, it really hasn't been any competition on the floor. Greg Apin opened up with a 7-1. Aiden Antoine had an 8-4. Steve Christensen had an 8-6. And now Ron Katz will be up for the Bears. East Brunswick has once again developed a powerhouse team and a very young team. And we're seeing evidence of that tonight. This is Ron Katz. Double full, roll out, into a handstand, back down into a split. Straight arm press. Good handstand there. Punch front, step out front. Slight bobble, but won't hurt him that much. Side semi. And we'll finish up with a punch front. Flip-flop full, and he steps out of bounds, and he'll have a deduction for that. But a nice routine for the freshman, Ron Katz.
Next up is Sayreville, Sarah Foster.
Should point out that Stephanie Piatek's score was 5.0 on the floor. And for Sayreville, Sarah Platzer will be up. Again, if you just joined us, Sayreville is using some girls on floor, and their scores will count towards their team score. At the moment, we're waiting for the score for Ron Katz on floor X. Ron scored an 8.5. And now Sarah Platzer from Sayreville. Sarah starts off with a pike back to a series of walkovers. Punch front, and she slipped coming out of that. Recovers well though. And holds an L on the floor. A tough move for a girl. Walk over. Missed on the layout. Actually, it was more of a whip over. Here's her scale. And she'll get ready for her last pass. And a series of backyard sprints. Sarah Platzer for Sayreville. The last competitor for the Bears on floor X will be Jason Cohen. And Jason is also a freshman, an all-arounder. Outstanding on floor X, leading scorer. And Jason has tied the school record of 9.2 on this event. So when you look at Jason Cohen and Ron Katz, two freshmen, you can see why East Brunswick is well positioned for the years ahead. Sarah Platzer's score is 5.4. Jason Cohen. Double full, very nice. And Jason starts off beautifully. Straddle press handstand. Whip back and to a back summy, press to a handstand. Nice combination, tumbling. Front handspring front to a neck spring. Jason finishes with a pull. Nice routine, Jason Cohen for the Bears. And I think it's safe to say that East Brunswick has taken this event, floor X, with room to spare. The last competitor for Sayreville will be Pete Michelle. While we have a moment, I would like to personally thank Denise Hastings for all her help in providing us with the event lineups and the scores. Pete Michelle starts with a standing back, a nice move. To a full, into a flip-flop. Difficult combination. By the way, Jason Cohen's score on floor X was 9.0. This is Pete Michelle, Sayreville, with the press handstand. Side semi, and he fell coming out of it. Into a Valdez. You don't see many men or boys on floor X do Valdez. Front handspring front semi as he comes down to the near corner here. His scale. Pete Michelle now will try to finish it out. with a full twist. Slight landing problem, but Pete Michelle with a nice routine for Sayreville. And so that'll finish Floor X, our first event. And East Brunswick well in the lead. Again, Greg Apin started off with a 7.1. Aiden Antoine had an 8.4. Steve Christensen had an 8.6. Ron Katz an 8.5. And Jason Cohen a 9.0. Our next event will be Pommel Horse. And we'll be moving there as soon as we get a score for Pete Michelle of Sayreville.
The next event for the varsity will be the pommel horse. The JVs will then be on the floor to start. Up first on the pommel horse is Kevin McGee of Sayreville. On deck for East Brunswick, Ron Katz.
All right, Pete Michelle finishes out floor with a 7.7 for Sayreville as we go to the pommel horse. Up first for Sayreville will be Kevin McGee. On the pommel horse, which is probably the most difficult of the men's events, we look for constant swinging, both with legs together, which they call circles, or when they split them into a scissor action. The gymnast is expected to cover all three sections of the horse in his exercise. Kevin McGee will be the first competitor, as you see the pommel horse and the Sayreville team behind it. As I said, side horse is probably one of the most difficult of the 6 men's events. In the background, you can see some of the East Brunswick players or gymnasts congratulating one of their fellow JV teammates. Anyway, this is Kevin McGee of Sayreville. Kevin starts with a single leg cut into the center of the horse. He's doing a series of leg cuts, covering all three sections, and a hop dismount. All right, up first for the Bears will be Ron Katz. Kevin McGee's score is 2.0. What you see is Ron is measuring the width of the pommels to be sure that it is comfortable for him. Each gymnast adjusts the equipment to suit body type and other requirements that they feel comfortable with. Ron Katz for East Brunswick. Ron starts with a loop on the end. Single leg cuts into scissors. Trying to circle and has a break. I guess the circle's going. This is on the wide out and hop dismount. Ron Katz had a good routine though, and this is the nature of side horse. You hit your feet or bend an arm and you're down. Up next will be Joel Pliwa. And Joel does a leg cut into the center of the horse, reverse scissor. Again, a series of leg cuts. And we'll do a loop dismount. Now he sits on the horse, that'll be a deduction. Ron Katz scored a 4.6 on the side horse. This will bring up Greg Apin now for the Bears. Greg starts with a Thomas Flair on the end. Moves to the center where he'll go into his scissors, reverse scissors, circles. Trying to get to the end and back in. He'll have to cut his way back there. Leg scissors again, looking for a loop dismount, and he just makes it. Big apron for the Bears. Joel Plewa for Sayreville had a score of 2.3. And Kevin O'Donnell will be up for the Bombers, with Jason Cohen on deck for the East Brunswick. Kevin hops to the center of the horse. Leg cuts into scissors. Reverse scissor. To a loop. Oop, and the arm bent. That's a deduction for touching the mat. And Kevin will just hop off. Kevin O'Donnell for Sayreville. That'll bring up Jason Cohen for the Bears. And Kevin O'Donnell has a 2.3 for the Bombers. Jason Cohen starts with a more mount into circles. Russian. Backs into the center, into scissors. And circle loop dismount, Jason Cohen. Nice routine. Slight break, but Jason should score well with that. That'll bring up Bob Osich for Sayreville. Through and off, and seals a low touch. Jason Cohen scored a 6.7. Now for the Bears will be Aiden Antoine, their captain. Aiden is a junior and is a solid pommel horse performer. And Bob Osich for Sayreville, his score was 3.3. Aiden starts with a more mount into circles. Nice Russian. Tries to back in. Moves into scissors. Scissor hop. Hitting the horse just a bit. Nice long body. Sat on the horse for what a nice routine. Aiden Antoine. Again, it's one of the toughest events, and you can see why. The guys are having a tough time. This will bring up Pete Michelle for Sayreville, the last competitor for the Bombers on the pommel horse. Pete starts off with circles on the end. Into scissors. Double leg circles. Travel out. And a loop dismount. Pete Michelle, Sayreville. And Aiden Antoine's score on pommel horse was 7.2. And the last competitor will be Steve Christensen. He was third in the state last year on the pommel horse. And he's only a sophomore. Nice leg circles, reverse out, loops to the end, back in. He travels 3 sections of the horse as required, into his scissors, nice and high. Reverse scissor, very nice. Hit the pommels and he'll loop off. Nice routine by Steve Christensen, and that'll complete pommel horse here at East Brunswick High School. We're waiting for Steve Christensen's score. And it's an 8.3. So fine routine by Steve Christensen. And it powers the Bears into a rather large lead here thus far against Sayreville. We're waiting at the moment for one of the JV competitors to finish up his floor X routine. Twist you saw there. All right, our next event will be the still rings. This is the 3rd event in the Olympic order. And Ron Katz will lead it off for the Bears. In the still rings, the judge is looking for strength and execution. And just as important is the fact that the gymnast must keep the ring still. Swinging, excess swinging is a deduction. One of the more exciting aspects of the rings generally is the strength moves that are required, such as an iron cross and the dismounts that the gymnasts usually throw in this event. And this is Ron Katz for the Bears. He'll start it off. Ron goes into dislocates into a shoulder stand. Holds an L, that's a strength move. He'll press up into a handstand. Having a little trouble keeping the ring steady. Again into the L. Ron getting ready now for his dismount. Double back summit. Slight step, but a fine dismount and a nice routine for Ron Katz. You see Don Weider, and the coaches are allowed to stand and be prepared to spot the gymnast. Chris Van Pelt will be the next competitor for Sayreville, and the first Sayreville gymnast on this event.
JV's next event will be bowling.
Chris Van Pelt kicks up, whips up into a low position. Shoulder stand and rolls out. Okay. And a straddle dismount. Chris Van Pelt. Ron Katz's score on the still rings was 4.8, and that brings up Aiden A. Antoine.
For Sayreville, Rich Finger.
Aiden is a junior and all-arounder. and again is the team captain for the Bears. Let me give you an update on the scoring. After 2 events, it's East Brunswick 48.4 and Sayreville 27.9. So the Bears are in a somewhat comfortable lead. Coach Weeder, Don Weeder, the only boys gymnastic coach at East Brunswick High School since the sport started. Aiden up to a handstand. L. Straddle. Strats move to the handstand. Had a little trouble. Dislocates out of it. Giant swings. Double back. Oh. Tough break. But a fine routine by Aiden Antoine. Excellent routine. He'll have a slight deduction on the dismount, but it shouldn't hurt him too much. Up next is Rich Fingerlin for the Bombers. Rich now into a shoulder stand, rolls out to inlocate. And a straddle dismount. Rich Fingerlin for Sayreville. Bringing up Greg Appel. Aiden Antoine's score on still rings was 7.5. Well deserved. All right, Greg Apin for the Bears. Greg is a junior, and this is his best event, according to Coach Weeder. So let's see. Excellent strength move. Giants to a handstand. To another. Very difficult on the still rings. Inlocate. To an uprise. And Coach Weeder steps in. That's going to be a deduction. Pulling the rings into a handstand, getting ready for his dismount. Giant swing double back, and the roll will cost him. Greg Apin for the Bears. Greg had a little too much swing in his routine, which threw off his rhythm. But a fine exercise nonetheless. This is Kevin McGee for the Bombers. Okay, Kevin McGee, we're getting ready here. Trying to hold that layout position. Into an L. Shoulder stand, inlocate. To the back center dismount. All right, Jason Cohen will be up for the Bears.
Jason Cohen. On deck for Sayreville, Mike Coleman.
And Jason is a freshman and one of those that Don Weeder smiles about when you talk to him about this team. Jason and Ron Katz are the two leading freshmen on the team, and they still have 3 more years here at East Brunswick. Jason swinging up right to the handstand. Giant swing back to the handstand position. Swinging just a bit. And that swing is causing problems as he presses through it, though. To the L position. Straddle up. What strength in this freshman. Double back summy to his feet. Nice dismount. Jason Cohen. If you've ever heard the expression muscling through it, that's what Jason did. He held his ground. Gotta bring up Mike Yeoman for Sayreville with Steve Christensen on deck for the Bears. You can see why East Brunswick is undefeated and why they are a good bet to win their 14th state championship. Jason Cohen comes up with a 7.9 for that routine. And this is Mike Yeoman for Sayreville. Handstand, couldn't hold it. Mike having a little trouble controlling the swing. There's a back semi off. All right, Steve Christensen.
Up next for East Brunswick, Steve Christensen. On deck, for Sayreville, Pete Michelle.
Steve was last year's leading scorer for the Bears, and again this year is outdistancing most on the team, as evidenced by the fact that he is usually the last man up on each event. Planche. You don't see many athletes doing that on the rings. Nice giants to a handstand. Off just slightly. He's got some swing to contend with. Nice swing to a hollow block handstand. L. And a press back up to the handstand, and he'll get ready now for his dismount. Double back, Steve Christensen, fine routine. He should score well with it.
Up next for Sayreville, Pete Michelle.
The last competitor will be Pete Michelle for the Bombers. Pete having a little difficulty getting up to that handstand position. We'll try it from an L. And he needs to press it out. He couldn't do it. I don't know if he'll get credit for it. A lot of swinging. As he gets ready for his dismount, which is a full twist, and that touch will cost him. But a nice routine by Pete Michelle. Steve Christensen's still bar score was still rings score was 8.7. And that will conclude the still rings event, and we'll move over to vaulting. East Brunswick with a very comfortable lead. And at this point, Coach Weider is just looking for the team to maintain a consistency, and that's something very much needed in gymnastics. We see Pete Michel's score of 5.1 on the rings. But consistency is really a key, particularly as the team heads into the championship season.
JV will be on the ring with the following order: Chris Gallo, Kevin Murtha, Mark Brown, and Rich Holford.
All right, we'll be moving over to the vaulting. And this is probably one of the more exciting events in men's gymnastics, or boys gymnastics, if you will. In this, the judges are looking for speed, height from the horse, and distance from the horse on the landing. You'll generally see a lot of tumbling type of actions, such as cartwheels, full twists, and summies. To start off will be Kevin O'Donnell for Sayreville. He'll be followed by Greg Apin of the Bears. In boys gymnastics, unlike girls, they have only one vault, one attempt. If you're familiar with girls gymnastics, you know that they have 2 attempts or 2 vaults, with the better score being recorded. For the boys, it's 1 shot, 1 score. And this will be Kevin O'Donnell for Sayreville. Kevin does a straddle. And that'll bring up Greg Apin.
Next up, Greg Apin. On deck, Sayreville, Chris Van Dal.
Speed is one of the key ingredients for vaulting. As you can well see, the horse is lengthwise, and so the gymnast must cover the entire horse in both pre-flight and after-flight. All right, Greg Apin for the Bears. Handspring half. Very nice vault. Good pre-flight, nice body position, and good distance from the horse.
Next up for Sayreville,
Chris Van Pelt will be up now for the Bombers.
Steve Christensen.
If you're looking down the road in terms of East Brunswick season, the Bears will enter the team championships beginning next Saturday at Huntington Central High School. From there will be the individual championships. And more likely than not, Coach Weeder tells me, that East Brunswick will face Middletown South once again. Okay, this is Chris Van Pelt for Sayreville. And Chris also does a straddle vault.
Next up for East Brunswick, Steve Christensen. On deck for Sayreville, Rich Henderson.
All right, that'll bring up Steve Christensen for the Bears. Van Pelt had a 5.6. Handspring full, and a little trouble on the dismount. He loosened a little bit in the hips and had to sit a little bit on the dismount. But a good vault for Steve Christensen.
Next up for Sayreville, Rich Henderson. On deck for East Brunswick, Abe Antoine.
This will bring up a Rich Fingerling for Sayreville. We're waiting for Steve Christensen's score. And it's an 8.2. Rich Fingerling with a handspring. Arm slightly bent, you could see the body position. Not a very good vault, quite honestly.
Next up for East Brunswick, Aiden Antoine.
And that'll bring up Aiden Antoine for the Bears. Aiden is very strong in this event. Rich Fingerline had a 7.2 on that vault. A little surprising, but here's Aiden Antoine. Handspring full. Just pulled it around. He had a little form problem. His legs came apart just before the landing, but he should score well with it. Fine vault.
Next up for Sayreville, Kevin Murtha. On deck, East Brunswick, Jason Cohen.
That'll be Kevin Murtha for the Bombers. One thing you have to be impressed about when you look at this East Brunswick team is the depth. And very few years go by that Don Weeder does not have freshmen and sophomores who are making major contributions to the team. And Aiden Antoine with an 8.5. Murtha with a nice handspring, a little long on the horse, but should score fairly well with it. Jason Cohen will be up now for the Bears. Just to pick up what I was saying, the strength has always been with the East Brunswick boys in terms of gymnastics with the young underclassmen, and this year is no different. There is really only one senior on the team. Anyway, this will be Jason Cohen. Kevin Murtha of Sayreville had a 7.5. Jason with that handspring front. Beautiful vault and just couldn't stick the landing.
Next up for Sayreville, Pete Michelle. On deck for East Brunswick, Ron Hack.
As you can see, vaulting was and is one of Jason's better events. It was a beautiful handspring front. Just set down on the dismount. Minor deduction, but Jason will score well with that. And an 8.4. A little surprised by that score. I thought Jason would have been much higher. This is Pete Michelle, Sayreville with a handspring. Good distance, good body form. And the last competitor for the Bears will be Ron Katz. As with Jason, this is a favorite event for Ron. We'll see what Ron does. Pete Michelle with an 8.3 on that handspring ball. Be deducted for the step, but a beautiful vault. And that'll conclude vaulting. As we go to our last two events, beginning with P-bars, and the second will be high bar. As we wait for Ron Katz's score. 8.8. So East Brunswick continues to dominate now after 4 events. And we'll go to the parallel bars with Ron Katz starting off for the Bears.
JD will be on the high bar. First up, Joe Capitano, followed by Alex Decker, Mark Ryan, and Rich Halstead.
If you've never been out to a gymnastic meet, either boys or girls, I would strongly suggest that you do come out. It's unfortunate to look around and see so few people here for a sport that is so demanding and so beautiful to watch. And particularly when you have 2 of the better teams in the state, that is the boys and the girls teams are one, if not the best, total program in the state of New Jersey. And I'd like to encourage the people to come out and view this sport. I think you'll enjoy it. If you're just joining us, I'm John Meggiolaro, and we're at East Brunswick High School, where the Bears are taking on the Sayreville Bombers in boys gymnastics. It really has not been a close competition, although we've seen some great individual activities. And we'll start off at the parallel bars here. We've gone through 4 events, and this is Ron Katz for the Bears. Ron starts off with a peach basket. Front semi to an L. Press handstand. Some pirouette. And a back semi dismount. Ron Katz. In this event, the judges are looking for a swinging movement. Movement with releases above and below the bar. And constant action, quite honestly. A scoring update after 4 events, it's East Brunswick 98.2 and Sayreville 62.1. Ron Katz comes up with a 6.9 on the uneven bars. I'm sorry, parallel bars. I'm getting my sports confused. Kevin McGee will be up for the Bombers. He's the first man up for this event, on this event, for Sayreville. And now into a shoulder stand. Back up rise. And a swing dismount off. Kevin McGee.
Next up, the East Brunswick, Greg Hayden. On deck for Sayreville, Rich Fitzgerald.
Kevin McGee comes up with a 2.0. In all fairness, we should point out that Sayreville is a young team and does not have the kind of depth or experience that East Brunswick does. And so Coach Jack Hefflinger is really at a developmental point with this team. And hopefully in 3 or 4 years, we'll see Sayreville up there as one of the better teams. Anyway, this will be Greg Apin for the Bears on the parallel bars. Peach to a shoulder roll. Nice L. Straddle to a handstand. He did not hit the handstand position. You must show a handstand on the parallel bars. To the back center distance. Back center. Greg Aiken.
Next up is Sayreville, Rich Finger. On deck for East Brunswick, Jason Cohen.
Well, I'll bring up Rich Fingerland for Sayreville. And Greg Aiken's score is 5.8. You see the gymnasts adjusting the equipment, and they do it usually by the width of the forearm. That's usually the indicator or measurement used. We're waiting for Rich Fingerline now. Glide to a support. Do not hold the elbow into a shoulder roll. Rich having a little trouble. And Rich Fingerline finishes up his routine for the Bombers.
Next up is East Brunswick, Jason Cohen. On deck for Sayreville, Mike Coleman.
Jason Cohen getting a little assistance from Steve Christensen. Peach basket catch, kip, straddle to an L. Press handstand, nice body position. Pirouettes. In the back layer at this man. Jason Cohen. Again, he's only a freshman.
Next up for Sayreville, Mike Coleman. On deck for East Brunswick, 8 Antoine.
This will bring up Mike Ullman for Sayreville as we await the score for Jason Cohen on the P-bars. And it's 7.5. Fine routine. Coach Weeder informs me that this Bear team has tied or broken almost all existing high school records here at East Brunswick. And when you think of the rich tradition of gymnastics here, you can see why he is so high on this, a very young but solid East Brunswick team. Mike Ullman, glide, kip, L to shoulder stand. Mike unable to get up into the handstand there. And dismounts. Aiden Antoine, the Bears captain, on the P-bars. Mike Ullman's score on P-bars is 2.9. You see Aiden putting chalk on his hands. That is to minimize the perspiration, avoid slipping. Aiden with a glide kick, straddle, he just got caught just a bit. Look at this. Beautiful move, straight arm press there. Pirouette. Stutz. Handstand position and back layout. Fine routine. Aiden Antoine. Great control and excellent body positioning.
Next up, the Sayreville November. On deck for East Brunswick, Steve Christensen.
I think you have to say that straddle on one bar was a crowd pleaser. Difficult move. In fact, it's an Olympic move. Very rare. In high school competition, Aiden comes up with an 8.6, well deserved. Fine bar routine. This will be Kevin Murtha now. Kevin with a glide. A little trouble coming up out of it. To an L. Again, a shoulder stand. And a dismount. I think it's only fair that we point out up front that Sayreville is not in a league with East Brunswick, and yet these gymnasts are coming out here giving their best effort, and I think they should be commended for that. You have to start somewhere in this sport or any sport, and you can see that the Sayreville team is young and new and learning. So while they're not providing much competition, they are going a long way in terms of helping to develop themselves and their team. All right, Steve Christensen will be the last competitor for East Brunswick on this event. Nice body type for parallel bars. Glide to a straddle cut. Just missed it slightly to a planche. Peach. And he'll press the handstand. Pirouette. To a stutz. And a circle. Something you don't see on P-bars very often much. Nice reverse dismount. Steve Christensen. That circle move is one that we saw earlier in the evening, usually found on the pommel horse, and Steve Christensen has put it into his parallel bar routine, showing some originality, so he should score well. And he does with an 8.5. Pete Michelle for Sayreville will be their last competitor in this event. And Pete starts off with a glide to an L.
Nice move. Showing his strength move. Press handstand. Pirouette. To basket catch, straddle cut. And he hit the bars. That'll be a slight deduction. And a front semi dismount. And that fall will be another deduction, but still a fine routine for Pete Michelle. Well, that concludes 5 events. And the last event, some consider the most exciting, is the high bar. And we'll move to that event in just a moment, but let's see what Pete Michelle is given. And he's given a 5.9 on the P-bars. Ron Katz will be the first competitor for the Bears. And as you can see, Coach Schweeder is allowed to assist the gymnast up to the bar. Ron Katz. In this event, you'll see that's a nice straddle cut catch. You'll see plenty of swing movements. There should be releases above and below the bar, if possible. Ron Katz now working giants, looking for his dismount, which is a flyaway. And a nice routine for Ron Katz.
Next up for Sayreville, Kevin Murtha. On deck for East Brunswick, Greg Aiken.
All right. Kevin Murtha will be up for Sayreville. Apparently, Chris Van Pell injured his ankle in one of the prior events and will not compete on the high bar. On deck for East Brunswick will be Greg Aiken. We're waiting for Ron Katz's score. And it's a 5.9. This is Kevin Murtha. Kevin doing a series of hip rolls. And we'll dismount with a flyaway.
Next up for East Brunswick, Greg Aiken. On deck for Sayreville, Mike Baldwin.
All right, Greg Aiken will be up for the Bears. Greg is a junior, and as I've pointed out several times this evening, this is a very young East Brunswick team. Greg does a vault catch. Now moving into his giant swings. Nice pirouette. Toe on, toe off. And a flyaway. So, Greg Aiken picks up where Ron Katz left off.
Next up for Sayreville, Mike Baldwin.
As the Bears compete on the last event, high bar. Mike Ullman will be up now for Sayreville. You can see some of the crowd, and again, it's rather disappointing. It is for me anyway. I go back to 1967 with gymnastics and can remember this gym sold out, literally. There wasn't a seat to be had to watch a boys gymnastics meet. And I'd like to think that a team that's on the verge of winning its 14th state championship would be better supported. Okay, Mike Ullman for Sayreville. Mike into giant swings. Have a break. We'll try to start up and finish it off with a dismount here. That'll bring up Jason Cohen.
Next up for East Brunswick, Jason Cohen. On deck, Sayreville, Rich Finnerly.
I must apologize. I missed Greg Apin's score on high bar. Mike Ullman has a 3.0. Full twist catch. Nice start for Jason. There's a toe on, toe off. Pirouette. Jason gets ready for a dismount. Double back summy to his feet. Nice routine. Jason Cohen, a freshman.
Up next for Sayreville, Rich Finnerly. On deck for East Brunswick,
Dave Ambrosi informs me that Greg Apin's score on rings was 6.4. Just a reminder that Channel 8 will be at East Brunswick High School to cover the Cedar Ridge and Sayreville football games as we close out our coverage of the boys football season. And we ask that you stay tuned to Channel 8 for all high school sports and information concerning the high school athletic teams. 8.2 for Jason Cohen on the high bar. This will be Rich Fingerlin now. Rich having a little trouble on the Giants, or what they call here German Giants, because of the hand grip. And you can see Coach Hepplinger for Sayreville moving in. And Rich will dismount. Well, that'll bring up Aiden Antoine.
next up for East Brunswick, Aiden Antoine. On deck for Sayreville, Pete Michelle.
Coach Weeder notes that Aiden has probably the best execution of anyone on the team. And if you look at scores tonight, surely his scores on the 5 events up to this point will prove Coach Weeder right. By the way, a moment ago I was talking about Channel 8 Sports and the activities we've been bringing you, and as I'm sure you're well aware, we've expanded our coverage, and we'd love to hear from you as to your thoughts on expanded high school sports coverage. Anyway, let's watch Aiden Antoine on the high bar for East Brunswick. Aiden with a free hip into Giants. Changes his grip. Series of changes for Aiden. Pirouette. He's got a nice routine moving here. Looking for a dismount. Double back to his feet. Oh, and a slight step. Nonetheless, nice routine.
Next up for Sayreville, Michelle. On deck, for East Brunswick, G. Christensen.
All right, you can see the East Brunswick gymnasts coming out to congratulate Aiden Antoine. Fine routine. A lot of team spirit on this Bear Club. Always has been, and that's a hallmark or a trademark, if you will, of Don Weeder. From freshman to senior, everyone is interested and concerned about their teammates. And while gymnastics is very much an individual sport, you can see that it is as important that it's a team concept. Aiden Antoine with an 8.6 as we watch Pete Michelle now for Sayreville. Minor form breaks for Pete, which is going to hurt him, but nice flyway and a good dismount. Steve Christensen, the last competitor for East Brunswick in this meet. Steve is scoring, as I said before, around a 50 in the all-around event. So that's better than an 8 on each event. And he is only a sophomore. A nice roll into Giants. You can see he's really moving. Toe on. Change of direction to reverse Giants. Pirouette. Good form, good technique. And a dismount. Full twisting flyway. Steve Christensen, outstanding high bar routine. And that should be it for tonight's meet between East Brunswick and Sayreville. We'll have for you the final score. First, let's see what Steve Christensen is awarded on the high bar. And a 9.0. So no doubt about who won the meet. As we've said at the outset, Sayreville is a young team, a developing team. East Brunswick comes in 7-0. Sayreville came in 4-3. And so the Bears will notch their 8th victory. More importantly, continue to move toward that state team championship, looking for their 14th in the school's history. And let me say, there has been no team at East Brunswick High School that has that many state championships. You can see the players congratulating one another. And the nice thing about this sport is that most of these gymnasts know each other from private clubs, go to summer camps together. And so they're not strangers to one another. And in fact, when you see warm-ups before a meet, you'll see that many of the gymnasts help one another with tricks and various moves. We're going to get for you the final score, and also hopefully see if we can pull Don Weeder over to talk with us. So we'll bring you the final score and hopefully Coach Don Weeder in just 1 minute. Well, welcome back, and I just want to give you the final score of tonight's meet. East Brunswick 148.6 and Sayreville 85.3. And joining me is Don Weeder, the only coach that East Brunswick has ever had in terms of boys gymnastics. Don, we talked before the meet, and we didn't expect Sayreville to really give you any challenge, really, but I think you have to be pleased with the performance of the team tonight.
Well, we're very well pleased. We're trying to peak out for the state team championships, which we held next Saturday evening at Hunterdon Central High School. So we're looking to have a good meet there and beat the defending state champs, which is Middletown South. And we defeated them earlier in the season and by 10 points. So we expect to do well there also.
Donna, how do you prepare the team? I mean, they had a meet tonight. Now, is it more working just individual skills, or do you bring them into the gym and have them just do routines?
Well, tomorrow we'll have a lighter workout because we have a meet on Thursday, and then Friday we'll start going routines again, and next week we'll go routines Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then Friday we'll rest, and then Saturday we'll compete. And generally we'll do 2-3 sets a day per event. And,
yeah, during the course of the meet, I mentioned the fact that you had said it's not inconceivable that this team next year score 160.
Yeah, I think they could score 160 next year because they're going to improve and they're going to get better. And of course, we have 2 freshmen on the team that certainly haven't reached their peak yet. And in fact, no one has reached their peak. So I would say they could go 160, and I think they should aim for it.
Don, when are you going to put your secret down on paper so that other high school coaches can begin to know how you do it year after year after year?
Well, there's no real secrets. I think it's just the boys work hard and give it all they have and are highly talented.
Yeah, I think the coach has something to do with it too. Anyway, that's the story from East Brunswick High School, where the Bears upped their record to 8-0 and look forward to that team championship, their 14th, if they are successful. For Don Weeder, I'm John Meggiolaro. Thanks for being with us.